Hey, soldiers, we're continuing to see a theme develop and accelerate. Rules for thee, but not for me. The me being, of course, those members of the Politburo, chieftains of corporations globally, politicians, and of course, the members of these non-governmental organizations like the Bank of International Settlements and the International Monetary Fund and the World Economic Forum. Speaking of the World Economic Forum, they popularized a theme: you will own nothing and be happy. Now, I don't know about the be happy part, but they are adamantly moving forward with the you will own nothing. And we're going to talk about that today with an attack on small business through legislation and regulation. That's how they, wield power legislatively, from a regulatory standpoint, and legally. And most of the time, the middle classes, us down here in the proletariat, we can't stand up to the resources that allow them to bring these weapons to bear. So you got an attack on New York City pizzerias. Now, I prefer Chicago deep dish, but I will say that New York pizza is great. Mamma mia, New York City rules crack down on coal, wood-fired pizzerias must cut carbon emissions up to 75%. Now, before we get into this, one thing I thought of when I read this and saw coal-fired, wood-fired. It's the way humans have been preparing food since we discovered fire. All right, so a mighty, mighty long time. And in that time, we've never deemed to place, some emissions from the fire over and above our ability to ingest calories. This is how weird we're getting out here in the Western world today. This is an attack on individual sovereignty. It's also an attack on small businesses and the economics surrounding small businesses, which include employing people, right? We'll get into how this is going to affect you in just a moment. But I want to encourage you to go ahead and hit subscribe, enlist, become a soldier of finance. You really need to at this point, because the global economy is evolving so swiftly that we need to keep our eye on this so that we can stay on the road to financial independence. That is essential. And we are going to own and be happy. So hit that subscribe button, enlist, become a soldier of finance. Let me know you did so in the comments. I will salute you. Also, hit the join button. Find out what we offer in the members only section. We call it the Officers Club. I'm going to guarantee you something. The return on investment you'll get from that is going to be through the roof. Guaranteed. Now, here's the other thing. I want to tell you to go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up because that helps spread these videos. The algorithm recognizes the popularity when you hit that thumbs up. It's a vote of confidence. So go ahead and do that. This audience is superb at hitting that thumbs up button. All right, guys, let's get into it. So they're forcing these pizzerias. Okay, now we're not talking multinational corporations. We're not talking about individuals who get in private jets and fly around the world. One trip in a private jet, more emissions than your car will generate in a year. Mamma mia, New York City rules crack down on coal, wood-fired pizzerias. They must cut the emissions by 75. Must cut emissions up to 75%. Historic Big Apple pizza joints could be forced to dish out mounds of dough under a proposed New York City edict targeting pollutant spewing coal and wood-fired ovens, the Post has learned. The New York City Department of Environmental Protection has drafted new rules that would order eateries using the decades-old baking method to slice carbon emissions by up to 75%. So who are we talking about? A bureaucracy, the New York City Department of Environmental Protection, filled with little Eichmanns, going about their little business day after day. Those who do not understand what it takes to generate payroll for people, to service clients and customers, face-to-face, day-to-day. These are people who get paid regardless. A government job is damn near impossible to get fired from, all right? So they're insulated from reality, so they can sit in their little bubble and come up with ideas like that. Probably happened when somebody came back from a pizzeria, saw some guy putting the pizza in the oven and thought, oh no, I need to get into the middle of this. This is bad for the earth. Mind you, stuff has been burning on the earth since before humanity even arrived, all right? We've had lightning strikes, touch off forest fires. We've had volcanoes. Hell, the planet even survived the Chicxulub strike from the asteroid and kept getting up, okay? All New Yorkers, rather, deserve to breathe healthy air. And wood and coal-fired stoves are among the largest contributors of harmful pollutants in neighborhoods with poor air quality. Department of Environmental Protection spokesman Ted Timbers said in a statement Sunday. Isn't that ironic? His name is Timbers. It's associated with wood. This common sense rule, it's common sense to him. Okay, notice how government always comes with that kind of, flow. Oh, this is just common sense. Remember Obama used to say all the time, it's the right thing to do. Like, period, point blank. This is a sign of we're not going to discuss this or debate this with you, you little plebe, you little tax-paying ingrate. We're just moving forward with it. He says this common sense rule developed with restaurant and environmental justice groups requires a professional review of whether installing emissions controls is feasible. The rule could require pizzerias with such ovens installed, here we go, prior to May 2016 to buy pricey emissions control devices. All right, so how's this going to affect you? Well, number one, the slice of your pizza is going to be going up north. Okay, it's going to definitely be heading up north because they got to, buy this stuff. And God forbid they can't get a loan to do it, right? Then they may be going out of business. All right, in addition to buying the pricey emission control devices, these things are going to set them back, with the owner of one Brooklyn joint saying he's already tossed $20,000 on an air filter system in anticipation of the new mandate. And not to use a pun here, but it's appropriate. The middle class just continues to eat this stuff. Eat it. Why? Because they have to make money in the interim. They don't typically have the trust funds to fall back on and just pontificate all day long while money continues to roll in. So this guy who owns his pizzeria is saying, look, I got to make money. I got a business here. I got customers that I serve. I got family that's counting on me. I got employees and their families that are counting on this particular place staying open. So they got to do what they got to do, right? But now I will say this. New Yorkers typically vote very, very blue. And these are the types of policies that come along with that. An inability by the politician or bureaucrat who's of a blue bent to recognize what it takes to invest in a business, okay, and to keep that business afloat. Quote, oh yeah, it's a big expense, unquote, said Paul Giannone, the owner of Paulie G's in Greenpoint. Quote, it's not just the expense of having it installed, it's the maintenance. I got to pay somebody to do it, to go up there every couple of weeks and hose it down and, do the maintenance. Wow, that's maintenance intense if they need to do something with that thing every couple of weeks. Giannone added that while the air filter is, quote, expensive and it's a big hassle, unquote, it also has some upsides. My neighbors are much happier. I had a guy coming in for years complaining that the smoke was, going right into his apartment, and I haven't seen him since. I haven't seen him since I got the scrubber installed. Nobody wants smoke in their apartment. I get that. So that was just being a good neighbor, all right, and saying, hey, if it's happening to this guy in his apartment, it's probably happening to other guys. And it probably would do my business well. This will be an investment in the business because is going to actually show them that, hey, look, I care about my customers. You don't want to alienate. With that type of business, you cannot afford to alienate the local community surrounding the business because they are your patrons, right? Other iconic pizza joints facing the heat include Lombardi's in Little Italy, Arturo's in Soho, John's of Bleecker Street in Greenwich Village, Patsy's in Turtle Bay and the Upper West Side, and Grimaldi's near the Brooklyn Bridge, that pride themselves on having their pies baked in coal and wood-fired ovens. It's a trade secret. It's the way they do it. It contributes to the taste, the experience of what the customers have come to expect. If you let these bureaucrats tell it, you'd hook a microwave up to a solar panel and be able to warm up a pizza 3 hours a day. It's kind of what's happening in South Africa, by the way. And we're going to take a look at that because for some other reasons. But let me not go down the path, that diversion just yet. A city official said that under 100 restaurants total would be impacted. So in the little apparatchik's mind, in the little city official's mind, it's just 100 businesses, okay, with no inkling of the impact of cost on those businesses, or the potential maybe to have people laid off in order to kind of recoup some of the costs associated with this. One pizza restaurateur who requested anonymity told the Post that sensitive negotiations are currently taking place with Department of Environmental Protection officials on whether to grandfather in or exempt dozens of cold and wood oven-fired pizza joints from the mandate. He said politicians and bureaucrats should stop messing with their crust. I read that. This guy's trying too hard at this point to come up with pizza-related puns. But the guy's saying, look, he's trying to negotiate with them to get grandfathering. But look, how's that going to work? Because how many new wood-fired pizzerias are opening in New York City? And how many new would open if they had this requirement? So no, they're going to go and they're not going to grandfather anybody. I'll bet you a slice of deep dish pizza that they're not grandfathering anyone. It would basically negate what they're trying to do. This is an unfunded mandate, and it's going to cost us it's funded, buddy, by you, the owner. This is an unfunded mandate, and it's going to cost us a fortune, not to mention ruining the taste of the pizza, totally destroying the product. This is still according to the anonymous restaurateur. He goes on to say, and uses a little bit more colorful language, if you F around with the temperature in the oven, you change the taste. That pipe, that chimney, it's that size to create the perfect updraft, keeps the temperature perfect. It's an art as much as a science. You take away the char, the thing that makes a pizza taste great, you kill it, he claimed. But the people in the Department of Environmental Protection, they don't care about that, all right? They're out to save a planet, and they're not going to let your large pepperoni pizza stand in the way of that. The anonymous pizzeria owner goes on. And for what? You really think that you're changing the environment with these 8 or 9 pizza ovens? He's right. The restaurateur added, some crusty customers also told city officials not to tamper with their slice. Quote, I'm all for responsible environmental practice, but tell Al Gore to take one less private jet or something. Bingo. Give me a break, said Brooklyn Heights resident Savi Sharma, 32, a financier who brought her parents and cousin visiting from India for their first slice at Grimaldi's, referring to the former vice president and climate change activist. Of course, him, the climate czar, John Kerry, all right? What a disgusting individual. He carries his elitism around on his shoulder and lets you know, buddy, you're not on my level. And he does it to such an effect that he'll get up in front of an audience after getting off of a private jet and tell them what bastards they are for driving around in SUVs. And now they're even condensing that down. You're eating this pizza. Oh, you're destroying the environment. I've been bragging about this pizza to my family for like 5 years, Sharma said Sunday. Don't mess with this. Giannone of Paulie G's said that despite assertions to the contrary, the air scrubbers will not affect the quality of the taste or texture of the pies. Hey, Paulie G, that's your pie, okay? Maybe the anonymous pizzeria owner, has a better product than you, all right? So you speak for your pizza, Paulie G. If someone is trying to say that putting a scrubber in changes the flavor of the pizza, they're just trying to save themselves $20,000. No, it doesn't affect what's going on inside the oven. No, it hasn't changed the taste. Probably because your pizza was substandard to begin with, Paulie G. I like the sound of char on the pizza. And of course now, Paulie G, since you've installed the scrubbers, we have nothing to compare it to, right? We can't do a before of your pizza and an after. We only have the after. It hasn't changed our product at all. Under the mandate, restaurants with coal and wood-fired ovens must hire an engineer or architect to assess the feasibility of installing emissions control devices to achieve a 75% reduction in particulate emissions. Can you imagine this? You just said, hey, look, I found this recipe among my great-grandfather's stuff up in the attic. It's a recipe for pizza. I think I'm going to go, because I tried it out at the house and a couple of cookouts. People just love it. You know, I got the pizza oven in the back. People love it. So I think I'm going to build a business around this. I'm going to go ahead and just buy the tomatoes, and I'm going to do it all fresh, and people are going to love it, okay? And you started it, and it was going well, and now you got to become a chemist and worry about particulate emissions. If this report concludes that a reduction of 75% or more cannot be achieved, or that no emissions controls can be installed, it must identify any emissions controls that could provide a reduction of at least 25% or an explanation for why no emissions control can be installed. You know, when we go back to Paulie G and he's talking about it doesn't change the taste of the pizza. Look, I got the backyard barbecue, okay, the smoker. And yeah, there's a lot of smoke coming out of that when I'm making my ribs or what have you. And when you go to the opposite extreme of cooking those in an oven, okay, which is what we have to do in the wintertime. We don't have to, but we do in the wintertime. There's a different taste. Now, I prefer the char and all that you get from the smoker. So I'm just taking two totally different extremes. One without an emission, okay? One with plenty of emissions. And yeah, if you tweak that and go toward fewer emissions, you're going to lose something in the taste. So you don't need to be a pizza scientist to understand that. All right, so if these pizzerias cannot install this equipment, the restaurant will be allowed to apply for a variance or waiver. Bet you that's going to cost money, and it's going to be renewable annually probably. But they must produce evidence to prove the hardship. The new DEP rule the new DEP rule complies with Local 38 of 2015, approved by Mayor Bill de Blasio, of course, the Marxist that is somewhere, flying in a private jet right about now. All right, a little history. The first pizza joints in New York and the U.S. used coal-fired ovens, which were coal was cheaper than wood at the time. But the coal-fired ovens took more oxygen to burn, requiring more space and typically built into the foundation of the building. Stainless steel pizza ovens entered the picture in the 1940s thanks to the emergence of natural gas. and very few new restaurants used coal or wood ovens. Other city pizzerias using such ovens include Fornino's in Williamsburg and Monterino, which also has a location in the Brooklyn neighborhood, as well as in the East Village and the Upper West Side. Lombardi's, which opened in 1905, so they've been there for over 100 years, and claims to be America's first pizzeria, boasts on its websites about its beautiful smoky crust, coal oven baked pizza. John's of Bleecker Street has been in business over a century, including since 1929 at its current location, and states on its website that its hallmarks are the coal-fired brick ovens that churn out hundreds of crispy pizzas daily. A rep at the eatery confirmed that its coal-fired oven was installed before 2016. Meanwhile, Mancini's wood-fired pizza in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, also may be forced to put in a device to curb fumes. It has an old wood-fired oven, employees said. Okay, so there are not a lot of these places. Okay, so again, the woman, Sharma, who said that what you should do is just require these, climate alarmists who own private jets. What you should do is just demand of them one fewer trip, and you would make up probably damn near a century of emissions by the wood-fired or coal-fired pizza ovens, right? Absolutely. So that's where we are. Another attack on the middle class. We're starting to see that. Now, look, you're going to have to pay close attention to the CBDC, or the central bank digital currency. It is on the way. It is actually here. More of it is coming down the pike to make you a plebe if you are ignorant of it. Watch this video we did where we explain how the International Monetary Fund, Bank of International Settlements, and even the United States government are moving full speed ahead on a programmable and trackable central bank digital currency. Guys, I'm going to get some pizza. I will talk to you soon.